Good evening. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans. The thing show that proves without a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the trunk of a ship. And it's stories like that keeps everybody confused, where they don't know that happened. Somebody just told them that it happened. And so in their mind, this is the start of the training. In their mind, it happened. They never think about it. They never question it. They just believe what they are told. The children are watching. And when I say children, I'm talking about the 16, 13s. They're watching to see what they have forward to look to, what they have to look to, because they're growing up. Many of them know that they're here to replace their mothers and fathers. Many of them know that their children are here to replace them. And these little young cats are learning that. This is something that your average 60-year-old don't know. So the youth are learning it because the generation that came before them have screwed it up so much, they have no choice. So I want to dedicate this to my neighbor, Joshua, just moved here and trying to get out of school now. So I want to dedicate this to him to let him know, dude, you are somebody. I don't care what the school says, the church and all that. You looking at yourself like you're nothing. You looking at yourself like you're black. That's what the term means, black, nothing. If you draw a black line through documents that need to be read, you're blacking it out. You're making it so it can't be understood. That's what the term black means. So he runs and tells his mother what I said. And his mother goes, he's right. So I want to dedicate this to him and all the young folks out there, especially the ones who are asking questions and the ones that are going to find the answers. So Joshua, he's in a really cool spot, but what school has taught him is that he's nothing. And I just proved it to him. He feels much better now. He gets it. But before he didn't get it because of all things he was doing, he was getting information from TikTok. Now, can you imagine a 16-year-old kid growing up, brain still developing, trying to have more knowledge in his head than he has now because he realizes he don't know nothing. Trying to graduate high school early. He don't know nothing. And he's not like one of these people or these young people who don't care that he don't know nothing. Most people love their ignorance. I just tell them, go to TikTok every now and then and listen to what the people are saying. These people may be 30 years old. Listen to what they're saying and how they're thinking. And does that mesh with your thinking? Does that jive with your thinking? Because he's in, I don't know, 10th or 11th grade, and he doesn't know what he's going to do. He said he's scared to graduate high school because what is he going to do? And I'm like, dude, your mama has a health and wellness business. It's already done for you. Yeah, but I want to do my own thing. How has that turned out for all these other people who want to do their own thing? Their families have established themselves as doing something right. Nice business too. Been to it. Nice. Dude, that's yours. Your mom, she probably haven't told you yet, but you got to go in there and help her. What you hear on TikTok, whose people would never do that. He realizes that he's being dumbed down through the school because when he asks the teachers a question, they never know. He's noticing all the immigrants coming in. He said they're not friendly with him or nothing. They're aloof. They just walk by him and his friends like they don't even exist. And so he's wondering what he's going to do. Dude, work with your mama. She got a business. You bring that young blood in, it's going to bring other people in. He didn't know that. So earlier this week, we both were taking out the trash. And he noticed that I was wearing my African Americans Ain't African t-shirt. And he asked, what does that mean? What do you mean African Americans ain't African? Dude, it's 4 words. You can't figure that out? Well, if we're not from Africa, where are we from? Right here. Oh no. My dad would. I'm like, ask your dad and ask him this and ask him that. And you're gonna notice he gonna have this dumb nigger look on his face. That's when he start lying. Because he don't know. I'm like, you're 16 years old. Are you familiar with a hurricane? Oh yeah, I'm familiar with a hurricane. Yeah. Do you think ships and hurricanes mix? He was like, he had that look on his face. Where do hurricanes come from? Africa? Where did they say they bought you from? Africa? So they bought all those people over here in half a year because a hurricane would make it impossible for you to cross the Atlantic. I mean, that's my opinion. I do get one, right? The look on his face was like, it makes sense. I mean, you saying you was bought over here. Your teachers are telling you that you were bought over here on a slave ship. I have 2 questions. The one I just asked you, and where are the ships? Because we know in this culture, they like to brag on what they do. They like to brag about how they can just kill people, dog them out, rape they brag on that, don't they? Okay, so since they brag on it, show us some ships. So where they used to be, they would be all throughout the Caribbean. People go underwater diving in the Caribbean all the time. Where are all the shave ships? People who argue it without even thinking about it, because remember, that's how Negroes, Black people, African American do. They're emotional. When you're emotional, one thing that you don't do is think ever. But I'm like, ask your teachers questions and watch the look on their face change because they're going to know it's the truth, but they're being paid to lie to you. What did your mom and dad say? What does your mom and dad say? He says they say the same thing. Ask them. And like I said, cool thing about his mom is she has a business and she's doing very well. And I suggested to him, man, just work with her. Work with her. Learn from her. That that's the best thing that he can do. And I'm gonna get why the children are watching and what our job is as one over them. You better shine every ounce of light you can on them, unlike that was shined in on us. You must educate yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. In this climate and culture, everybody out here is trying to fuck you. And if you think I'm lying or bullshitting, ask women. They tell you better than anybody else. So I tell them you have to educate yourself, because most people, I'm not saying all, because I'm sure none of you in the audience is that. You have to educate yourself because everybody else only knows what they're told. That's why things never work out. They don't do it from what they're getting from nature. They're doing what somebody tells them to do. They have a job. So if you don't know it by now, nature teaches us everything. And we should be learning from that. So so I'm just pushing them along. So we're taking out our trash in the yard and we're surrounded by trees. And I didn't know this school was this bad. We're surrounded by trees. And I asked him, did he know what that is? Yes, a tree. Yeah, but what kind of tree? And he didn't know. Went over to the tree. It's a longleaf pine tree. What do you know about longleaf pine trees? This is going to teach you, this is going to help you throughout life. He goes, I don't know anything. I said, well, go find out. Smart kid. Comes back the next day with a look on his face like, damn, I didn't know that. I'm like, you're gonna hear that a lot in your life. People don't know. You got to go educate yourself. He go, but how is that possible? I mean, didn't you read it? He goes, no, I didn't. I didn't. I was so excited when I learned about it. I said, what did you learn? He said that they're fire resistant. Very good, but that's not what you're supposed to learn from a tree. I mean, it does all kind of stuff. You can learn anything. Do you know when the leaves or the pine needles fall off the tree, when they hit the ground, they sow back into the ground to come up and replace the other pine needles on the tree? What? Do you know when the pine needle falls off the tree or a leaf falls off the tree, it goes into the ground, decomposes, and comes back up to replace the other leaves and pine needles on the tree? Uh-uh. You notice that, with people who don't know anything, you try to tell them something And they don't believe it because they never heard it. So I'm like, well, explain how it's done. And of course, he couldn't. And I'm like, that goes to show you about life. When you die, you go on the ground, you come back up, and you're another person. You may have your soul is intact. Your life. This is why they teach you that you're black. This is why they teach you that you're not nothing. And just because you do what they do doesn't erase that fact. You're allowed to do what he does so others can follow suit. He goes, I never heard any of this. I'm like, yeah, okay, okay. You hearing it now. Educate yourself. Nobody's gonna do it for you. Just had a friend of mine that died. He gets with this girl a couple of years ago, and soon as he dies, this chick cremates him, blah, blah, blah. And the brother was pretty astute at business. Didn't tell nothing about the family, of nothing, everything she tried to keep for herself. Another young lady who was a friend to this brother, they were real good friends. So he called the family, and because the family really didn't even know about the property that the brother had. The girlfriend tried to steal it all, keep it for herself. They didn't get along while he was here. She was just cute, made some money, and that's what it was. And so what happens happened. So she's trying to get everything that he built, leaving his mother, who was incapacitated, and his brother, who lives in another state with nothing. This is why you got to be tight with your family. This is why you got to go work with your mama. Learn from your mama. Learn whatever you can from people in your family, who you are. What did you guys do? Because you are those people. So you take an example, the people who live in California, most of their people came from the South. Their people weren't entertainers. That's the route people take to fit in. Those people grew food. Those people navigated these riverways and all that stuff. You have those same those that's why you do genealogy. What did you do? You already equipped with damn near everything you need. But when you go places and try to be other things, all of that crumbles. So the children are watching. It's so bad now, seriously, that these kids see it. And Joshua was 16 years old, but I'm sure kids 7, 8, 9 see it too. Like the kid told me, ICE are immigrants, aren't they? And you have Negroes up here clapping with their feet like they're doing something for them. These children that are coming up now, they're on a whole nother vibe than the masses. They're on a whole nother vibe as the masses. watch out for them because you're going to see a big change. Because what you think is normal, what you think is nice, they're not going to think that because they're going to be watching what all that stuff does to you. Watch these children. Shine the light on them. Tell them who their great grandparents were. Tell them where they lived. Tell them what they did. You know, these youth are finding out that the rivers used to be the highways. So if you were up in Virginia, it wasn't called Virginia then. The people had their own name for it. If you're up into what is now Virginia and you want to send something to Louisiana, you just take the rivers. Do you know how much skill that has to have? Do you know how much know-how that has to have? We moved somewhere and want to learn how to do the ham bone, and we made it. Do you know the fishermen along all these rivers used to ship their fish out to the West Coast? Into the Negroes on the West Coast sold all of their fish businesses, all of them. This is recent history to the Koreans. Ask your mother and father, your uncle, and all those people. Don't let go of your ancestors because you are them. You don't think your great grandmama lives through you? I mean, great grandmothers. You don't think none of them are present in you? What, you got four of them? Eight of them? You never think of that? And the number get higher the more you go back. Do you understand what you have living inside of you? Because all you are is a rebirth of them, all of that. These children are learning that. Because you don't know it, your children will know it. There's going to be a problem later. Because the average person, I'm not saying it's all, because some people do. Some people doing it right now. Make yourself smarter than you were yesterday. Make yourself all knowing more than you were yesterday. If somebody says something that you haven't heard before or you don't know, ask them to expound on it and then go look it up for yourself. You got, and everybody's happy, AI. So you see AI got the little disclaimer on it. This may not, all this information is not true. Pay attention to that. You can't get something from a machine that you can't get from yourself. All you gotta do is think about it. So all you gotta do is think about it. So again, with these young people, oh, and I just want to, so somebody else brought this up. A little youngster brought this up. And I thought it was cool because I'm saying people get it. Remember Malcolm X and Martin Luther King? Let's just take that part in history. They were programmed to us as adversaries. Yeah, I'm sure at that time they were used by the people who try to run everything. They were used against us. But one of the things that a young man brought up, and I picked it up too, is that both of them died when they were 39. I was like, right. He goes, don't you think that's odd? He goes, it's more than odd. It sheds some light on some things. And that's what I'm saying. If you pay attention to life, look and compare yourself to nature. That's what I would tell any kid. Compare what are some of the things nature has that you have. Now, what you call black, African American, Negro, all them, they'll laugh because nature's not more important than things than money to them. Not all of them, most of them, 90%. He goes, so what do you think about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King dying before 40? I'm like, it's just showing us something. It's just showing us all something. What is it? If by 40 you don't know anything, you're not trying to learn nothing, you think you know everything. If you're there by 40, you're going to be there the rest of your life. And I think, looking at those cats and what they were saying, they didn't know. So they knew things. They knew things that what they were doing were twisted. An example, Martin Luther King said he led us into a burning boat. He figured it out. He was just being played. He's one of those boule cats, one of those gatekeepers. All we gotta do is look at what he did. Not saying he was a bad man. He was great. He knew what was up. He knew that he had broke the covenant. And with Malcolm X, don't go by what Alex Haley say. Go by what you say. Malcolm X the same way. He knew what he was doing. The Nation of Islam is demons at best. You would think the average person would know that just by simply looking at it. Who taught Elijah Muhammad? You do 60 seconds of research on him, your whole mind will change. But we don't do that. We listen to what other people say. And from what I hear from all the people who hung around Malcolm and knew him, he knew. He knew. You're going to take the religious ideologies of Muslims and you can't even tell us the ones of your grandparents who were here? Explain. The average Negro, the average, will pretend like it never happened. And I think, this is my personal, and I think Malcolm X knew that. I think Malcolm X knew that the Nation of Islam was the drug runners. They were. They were. Educate these kids. Not those teachers going to do it. You see the jam that got us in. Most of the teachers are what? Greeks. They turned them backs on themselves and became Greeks. You know it. And when you look at Greek history, what is Greek history? Nobody wants to talk about it. Juba says it takes 40 years to make a profit in the oath taker world. So if what Juba says, doesn't that explain the story of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King? You can't go on in your whole life being a coon your whole life. You get to the point where you say, I can't do this shit no more. Because, like I said, your children are going to replace you. Isn't that what you're seeing with Will Smith's kid now? Isn't that what you're seeing with Magic Johnson's kid now? So we're shown these things in life. We're not really trying to learn. Do not lead your children down this path, because what is going to become of their children? These hands are watching y'all. Hands. That's what your kids are. That's what you are. You use your hands in everything you do to build something, to fix something, to make something. They're hands. No, we call them children, kids. They're hands. They can do a whole bunch of stuff. And that's what their ancestor did, build stuff with their hands. Say hi to Lisa Cypress, y'all. What you doing in here, girl? What you doing, Willis? Lisa says, have there ever been a prophet? What is a prophet anyway? What is it? It sounds like pastor. What is a prophet? These hands that are coming, you're going to see a prophet is nothing. You're going to see these kids are already learning about. You got Christianity, Islam, whatever, but they're starting to realize that they had a spiritual system set up over here already. You ask the average African American, what was the spiritual beliefs or the spiritual teachings of the people over here in America? You'll get that dumb nigga look. Don't care. And you have to read the Bible with the people, because they won't read it because they know you're telling the truth. Have them read it to you so they can never deny and lie and try to act like they don't know. We got monks walking just to keep ice away. So, Lisa, can I get your take on this? So, like I say, I hear all these Negroes just feet clapping and just hand boning because this ICE is getting rid of immigrants. But isn't ICE immigrants themselves? That's what I mean. You can't take these hands on that mind fuck with y'all. They have to know there's things happening. There's people's out there teaching stuff. There's people out there doing stuff that if we all did it, it'd be no problem. But everybody want to be in one of million ideologies that they have given you. I met a brother who was a Jehovah's Witness. Jehovah's Witness. Explain that. And this brother's in his 60s. So, like I say, if you don't learn nothing before you hit 40, it's over. That's a fact. That should be what you want to do every day. Learn about yourself, about your mama, your daddy, his mom and daddy, her mom and daddy, their mothers and you got to learn because that's you. You're they're the pine needles that fell off the tree, melted back into the ground, and produced you. Is that hard? We don't get it. You let these ICE agents and all these people come in here and mess your mind up. Don't mess up the mind of the kids. You guys have a good night. Peace.